tough opposition, and they're playing their whole game in the last 4 days. That's the way they line up. Their point guard is Glenn Burns, is quite physical. Simmons, Harris, Sims Jr., and Montford round out their starting five. And for the Drake Bulldogs, Nico Medved's gone with the same five all season long so far.
And the highlight so far, Nick McGlynn, really upside surprise. Back-to-back double-doubles for McGlynn in their previous two outings.
Let's go look at our keys to the game, Adam.
Yeah, you look at these two teams and not a lot of series history, right? They both had kind of mixed results so far this year. But when you're looking at keys for Chicago State tonight, they really need to get early stops. So they're ranked 322nd in the NCAA in scoring defense right now. They got to get some early stops and build some confidence. They also have to keep pace. In their 2 wins, they've scored over 100 points per game. In their 4 losses, just under 55. So a big disparity there for Chicago State. If you look at the Drake Bulldogs, Holiday cheer, we talked about it in the open, Larry. They really are sharing the ball well, continue to share with each other, and they've increased their outing from 13 assists per game last year to 17 assists per game this year. That's a really good stat early on. And battle of the boards, this is an undersized Drake ball club. We expected maybe they would get out-rebounded a lot, but so far a +5 rebounding margin versus Chicago State -5. So keep an eye on the battle of the boards.
John Higgins tosses the ball up. He's joined by Brooks Wells and James Durham on the officiating crew. And the Bulldogs' second home game of the season begins with Chicago State winning the opening tip, and Glenn Burns, the senior out of West Memphis, Arkansas, who runs their offense, will take it to the corner.
And the Chicago State team, a team that's going to try to get to the rim, a lot of ball screen action up on the perimeter, trying to get in the paint.
And again, number 14, Fred Sims Jr., the man who makes their offense run, their leading scorer, and he will take the majority of the shots. He takes the first one and nails it for his 9th three-pointer of the season.
And now coming into a little bit of full court pressure, just trying to keep Drake off balance, keep him uncomfortable. Watch for this Cougar ball club to keep mixing up their defenses.
They will do a lot of different things because they're still trying to discover their defensive identity, according to their head coach, Tracy Dildy.
And here playing a little bit of zone. This Drake Bulldog team hasn't played a lot of zone so far early on in this season, so we'll see what the zone offense looks like.
Off the baseline, it's Nick McGlynn in and out, and the rebound taken by Deontay Simmons.
And you know, it's funny, Larry, you look and you see that 7-foot shot. Those are really difficult shots, actually, for a lot of these guys. They're used to shooting either deeper or right in close. So Nick McGlynn, in and out, missed early on.
Burns all the way to the rack to score a quick 5-0 lead to the Cougars, who jumped to a 10-point early lead on Thanksgiving Day against UMC Baltimore and wound up losing the game by 9. B.K. McMurray runs the point for the Bulldogs.
And you can already tell what this zone is doing. It's controlling tempo and keeping Derek slow and stationary on the perimeter.
But there's always a good way to beat the zone, and that's to shoot over it, which Reed Timmer does.
And how about Reed Timmer? 58% so far from 3 on the year. Just shooting it absolutely lights out for the senior.
Made the all-tournament team at the Paradise Jam, averaged 23 a game there, but a quick answer from Montana Bird for Chicago State.
And he's really the knockdown shooter for this team. You mentioned the game against UMBC. He was 5 of 9 from three-point land, 17 points. Bird's really their zone buster.
You can practice against the zone, but playing into the game the first time is different. Prior to today, Drake has faced 2 possessions of zone.
Wow.
McMurray leaves it short, and Anthony Harris scoops it up.
And you're right, Larry. That's one of the things. That's the reason coaches go to zone, especially when you're an underdog. It's not the first thing players play against. Trying to get them uncomfortable and out of their rhythm.
The long rebound of the Sims miss comes to Timmer. Timmer leading the team with an average of 21.5 per game.
Excuse me, Larry. So far, we've seen this Chicago State team do a really good job. They're making Drake uncomfortable. Not a lot of motion in their offense.
They still trying to identify shooters against the zone. Aragandade inside. McGlynn tries to go for the follow and gets fouled.
And that's a great thing for Nick McGlynn to do. Normally, we would see this Bulldog team be undersized. Now, Nick McGlynn, the biggest man on the floor, has to use that body, especially against the zone, and go attack rebounds.
McGlynn, one of those players that has really come a long way from a season ago. Last year, averaged about 5 a game. This year, he's almost 11 a game. And from the free throw line, that's just his second miss, now 7 out of 9. Bulldogs have shot it well from every place, including the free throw line, with 79% early in the season.
This is a team of shooters consistently over the last couple of years. Even though they've had a few different coaching staffs, they've been high relative to the country in terms of the number of threes taken and the number of threes made, and also have been able to knock it down from the free throw line. That's one of the skills this team has.
Sims with a kick in the corner for Burns. Now the shot clock inside 10, and inside a push-off is spotted on Deontay Simmons against Nick McGlynn.
And even though Simmons only 6'8", he's got that wide body, 230 pounds, and you notice really strong down there. That time got caught for the chicken wing, pushing a little bit too much on McGlynn.
And against full court pressure, kind of a 1-2-2 trap from full court. Out comes McMurray with the basketball. Ball fake by McMurray. Timmer open for a three ball. And the rebound comes to Chicago State. Montana Bird comes up with the carry. All the way goes Burns, and no basket. He was fouled on the way in.
Pretty nice take, and you see Burns, he's a big guy, so he's the leading assist guy for this Cougar team, but 6'3", 205 pounds. Once he gets going downhill in transition, really tough to stop, and it looks like they got the foul on D.T. McMurray out on the perimeter, but a nice finish, really crafty in there for Burns.
And McMurray leaves the lineup to be replaced by Graham Woodward. And the shot from the lane by Anthony Harris goes down. The junior from Gary, Indiana, averaging 6 a ball game. And Chicago State opens up a 6-point lead. Woodward, another of the Bulldogs that has shot it extremely well in the first 4 games of the year. Leaves this one short. If it was a shot, if it was a pass, it was a going to McGlynn.
Yeah, sometimes you give guys the benefit of the doubt. That time I'm not sure that was what Woodward's intention as he came off the bench cold and put that one up, but a nice play again by McGlynn. And
a nice move to the basket by Glenn Burns. Burns awfully physical for a point guard, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's physical and he's long. He's explosive near the basket, and he's really strong in his upper body. But if you're the Bulldogs, that's just way too easy. Not a lot of resistance.
Timmer for 3. The long rebound to Oregondade. Chicago State stays zone. Oregondade goes baseline. Finds an open Timmer. Kicks it back to Oregondade. And then he tries to hit McGlynn on the baseline, but Deontay Simmons is in the way.
Good activity so far from the Cougars on the defensive end, really making life for the Bulldogs difficult.
Inside, Deontay Simmons travels. This Cougar Ball Club playing their 3rd game in the last 4 days, Thanksgiving Day today. So a red-hot shooting Cougar Ball Club opens an early 6-point lead.
And really attacking the rim, getting some easy ones, going right through the teeth of this Drake defense. If you're Coach Nico Medved, you can't be happy with the aggressiveness your team has showed on the defensive side.
A couple of changes in the Bulldog lineup. Freshman Noah Thomas, who wears number 14. The freshman from Australia is checked in at a guard spot. And up front, Casey Schlatter, number 22, onto the floor for the Bulldogs. Thomas drills it from the corner.
Wow, that ball wasn't even in his hands for half a second. Noah Thomas, the quick release, getting it over from the senior Timmer, and the freshman wasting no time to put that one up.
Chicago State back onto the floor with the same group that started, as Tracy Dildy will play a lot of players, staying with the starters thus far. And why not? They've been red hot early. Another change for Drake, and Jalen Gibbs, the freshman from Waldorf, Maryland, will come back in.
And here we see Thomas, the quick release, and also on the defensive side, quick hands. If you talk to the coaching staff, Coach Nico Medved, what he really likes out of this young kid is his ability to move on the floor. He's so quick to the basketball and just wreaks havoc, especially the speed end to end.
Probably one of the speediest Bulldog players in many a year. Nice save by Simmons, and the Cougars will get another crack at it 6 minutes into the game. Crowd wanted to walk, didn't get it. Montana Bird looks inside, tries to find Simmons. The ball kicked away, and it's great basketball.
And how about that? That you put a couple of freshmen in, and your defensive intensity picks up. These are guys fighting for playing time, really eager to get out on the floor. Good possession that time defensively for the Bulldogs.
Gibbs missed the last 2 games of the Paradise Jam with a sore knee, but he's 100% as he enters today's game. So it's Thomas and Gibbs, a couple of freshmen on the court for the Bulldogs, along with Schlatter, Oregondade, and Woodward. Woodward, nice bullet pass to Oregondade. Cougars in 2-3 zone. Shot clock down to 7. The running right-hander is good by the other freshman on the court, Jalen Gibbs.
And the staff really high on this kid as well. Gibbs showing off his scoring ability. He's got good length, even only 6'3", but he's got long arms and has a defensive prowess that they really like.
Back-to-back baskets by the Bulldogs since they came out of the timeout. Down the lane to the rack is Burns. The rebound taken by Thompson. Now you see his speed. He jets up the court, finds Gibbs way before the defense can get there. And the other way comes Fred Sims Jr. Second team all-WAC last year, drills it.
And you said he put him up, right, Larry? Nice shot that time in transition. Don't give that guy a lick of room because Sims can fill it up.
Yeah, put it up. Yeah, last year when he was on the court, he took 36% of his team shots. That was number 5 in the country in that category. Argondade connects for the Bulldogs.
Well, and sometimes when your teammates and your coaching staff rely on you to be a scorer, that's a lot of pressure. And boy, as Sims he seems so comfortable shouldering that burden.
He actually flirted with going to the NBA after last season when he averaged 19 points a game in the Western Athletic Conference, but decided to come back to Chicago State.
Now the offense of Drake has picked up a little bit. We're seeing the passing and the cutting. That time Casey Schlatter, a guy that's starting to be really well known around Drake circles as a good passer, especially for a big man. Nice feed to the cutting Argondade.
Chicago State, not a lot of size inside, so Casey Schlatter, the tallest man on the court right now. The shot is short by Harris. But a foul spotted inside on Schlatter.
And Larry, I've been watching inside, watching Simmons work. Man, that guy works hard. He's pounding bodies with everybody. He's clearing space. Does a great job of staying low and initiating the contact. Not in a way that would draw a foul, but just making sure his physical presence is felt every moment in there. If you're watching this basketball game, keep an eye on number 3 underneath, Deontay Simmons, and just the physicality he plays with.
Bird guarded by the shorter Gibbs. Sims lets fly from 3. Coming up with the rebound, C.J. Rivers. Woodward can't hang on along the baseline. The turnover gives the ball back to the Cougars. And that brings us to a timeout.
And Coach Nico Medved can't be mad with that. His team picking up the pace a little. Love jump shot transition. Every time he has the basketball, he's a danger to score. Somebody that can get hot in a hurry and score in bunches as well.
He's taken 25% of his team shots so far this season. He has more than twice as many shot attempts as anybody else on the squad.
Wow.
Yes, he's their machine. But he is the guy who can put it in the basket, and that's why Tracy Dildy gives him a green light.
Well, you know, it's funny. From a coach's perspective, you want to give your team the highest % chance to score every possession, and sometimes that means you need your best player to put up shots. So for Coach Dildy, that's what he has. He has a green light for Sims, trying to get him going at any possible opportunity.
Bob goes inside to Simmons, and he gets fouled.
We just talked about him, right? And just the physicality he plays with. He uses his lower body so well to root out the defensive player, just to open up that position. And he's got those long arms, makes the nice over-the-top catch, unable to finish, but gets a chance at the charity stripe.
Schlatter gets his second foul, trying to defend Simmons. The senior from Detroit, just his 4th visit to the free throw line this year. Coming off a season best and career best 18 against Presbyterian on Friday. Knocked down both free throws. And Chicago State, which has led all the way in this one, continues to maintain a 4-point lead. Schlatter with those 2 fouls out of the lineup. Nick McGlynn has come in to take his place. And D.K. McMurray's also been added to the Bulldog attack. McMurray working against Sims. Woodward with the 3 ball. Short. Bulldogs had been hot. They'd hit 3 of their last 4 shots after a slow start. At the other end, there's an offensive foul. A push spotted on Montana Bird. His second foul.
Really nice take that time for D.K. McMurray. Getting out in transition. Watch him move his feet. Watch him. The quick shuffle and kept his chest right in front of the offensive player to draw that charge. Really nice take as Montana Bird tried to go baseline.
So Bird removed with his second foul and replaced by Delani Truitt, a senior from Gary, Indiana, comes in averaging almost 8 points a game off the bench for Chicago State.
And on the offensive end for the Bulldogs, this zone has really kind of confused them a little bit. They're taking a lot of outside shots, roughly half their shots from three-point land.
Well, again, practicing against the zone and facing it in game time for the first time really this season. Big difference.
Well, and when you're practicing against a zone and you're a predominant man-to-man team, you're playing against a man-to-man team that's just playing zone. Does that make sense with Larry?
It does. They don't play it well, in other words.
Right, rather than playing a team who does it every single day in practice. So really hard to simulate, especially a specialized zone like we're seeing out of Chicago State.
Hey, as with everything you say, that makes a lot of sense. Sims leaves it short. Woodward with the rebound. Woodward, nice hesitation, change of pace dribble. Here's Murray, too hard off the glass. And one and done for the Bulldogs as Chicago State's Glenn Burns comes up with the rebound.
And what the Cougars are doing is they're just making it so Drake's taking shots from places they're not used to taking shots. So for DT McMurray, had an open three but kind of passed it up, was a little unsure of himself. We've seen a couple passes deflect off hands on the offensive end as well. So the Cougar Ball Club doing a great job of keeping the Bulldogs uncomfortable.
McGlynn gets caught leaning on Deontay Simmons. So that is the third Bulldog foul trying to patrol Simmons. He mentioned his strength and how active he is, and it's causing the Bulldogs some havoc right now. A very animated Tracy Dildy in front of the Cougar bench. He's also the interim athletic director. There's a busy man.
Yeah, no kidding.
Shot won't go. McGlynn there for the rebound on the miss by Harris. Timmer travels. The Bulldogs chalk up their fourth early turnover. Chicago State also has four. Nico Medved, first year at Drake after 4 successful seasons at Furman. He was the Southern Conference Coach of the Year in 2017. Took over a program with 7 wins, and before he left, they were at 23 wins and back-to-back postseason tournaments.
And when you talk to Coach Medved, and when he got to Des Moines, he's just been continually surprised over how that same formula and a lot of the seeds are in place to help continue to build that. So I think if you talk both about him and his players and what he's seen out of their development, but also around this city and the fan base, sees a lot of corollaries between here and Furman.
With the shot clock winding down, Jelani Pruitt slices between 2 Bulldogs to score. And once again, a 6-point lead for the Cougars. Bulldogs not shooting it very well from long distance, which they had been. Simmons fouls McGlynn, and that'll be his second foul.
And Nick McGlynn fighting hard again on the offensive glass. We've seen him create a couple opportunities now, and now drawing the second foul, or excuse me, maybe only the first foul on Simmons underneath. Nick McGlynn doing a good job battling.
McGlynn knocks down his 4th early point. Woodward out, and Ori Origandade back into the lineup for the Bulldogs. Has averaged 7.5 points so far this year, coming off a 12-point game, a season high. The Bulldogs last outing against Drexel, a double overtime win by Drake, which enabled them to finish 3rd in the Paradise Jam. The drive by Burns, can't finish. And the rebound taken by Rivers. Rivers finds Timmer, going for the block with Simmons. And that was a little premature, but there's foul number 3, or number 2, I should say, on number 3, Deontay Simmons.
And good job that time for C.J. Rivers, getting the ball from one end to the other, hitting to the leading scorer, Timmer, as he gets out in transition. That's a great way for this Bulldog team. If you're having trouble against the zone, get the ball up the floor before the defense can get set. Maybe you can get something in fast break. You can get a chance to attack the rim, or you go through a secondary break, move the basketball, and get an open shot.
Patrick Spear comes in, a sophomore from Wheeling, Illinois at 6'9", number 23 for Chicago State. He takes the place of Simmons after he picked up his second foul. Timmer, who gets to the line more than any other Bulldogs thus far, almost averaging 8 attempts per game. And he knocked down a couple there to give Drake back within a pair. Chicago State a little bit patterned on offense, more than you might expect. Sims lets fly and scores.
You talked about a pattern, Larry. The ball gets in Sims's hands. It's going up. That's the pattern. And boy, knocking down another one. He is so tough on the offensive side.
And that's the thing. Inside or outside, he can score from anywhere. McMurray in deep. There's contact, but no foul. The ball out of bounds off Drake.
Good defense that time inside. That's what you want to do on the inside. Keeping those hands up, maintaining that verticality. As here we see Sims just hand down, man down. Just like Mark Jackson says in the NBA, knocking it down from distance.
Burns picks up his dribble. Once again, it is in Sims' hands. Orogundade is going to be asked to try to stop him. Not an easy task. The rebound comes to Rivers. Rivers coming off a terrific game against Drexel. 10 points, 9 rebounds. Rivers fires. The Bulldogs suddenly icy behind the three-point line. They are just 1 out of 8 shooting the three ball.
And falling in love with that outside shot. That's one of the things this team does really, really well. But you have to adjust. When you're not knocking them down or the defense is closing out well, you have to have a counterattack.
Once again, the shot clock goes inside 10. And the three ball from long range by Glenn Burns. That's only his second three of the season. That's his 7th point in this game. And it gives the Cougars their biggest lead of the afternoon.
You said it, Larry. Not a guy that hits a lot of them, but opportunistically he'll knock it down.
McGlynn takes advantage at the other end, being in close, good position to get his second basket, his 7th point.
Those are the opportunities that Drake hasn't had to this point. Penetrating inside the zone, trying to get something easy. Good job by C.J. Rivers to knife through the defense and open it up for Nick McGlynn.
Corey Kinsling about to come in for the first time for the Bulldogs. Pruitt kicks it out for Burns. And the ball deflected by the Bulldogs. 7 seconds for the Cougars to shoot. Corey Kinsling, last 2 games, 16 points, 12 rebounds against Drexel, 15 points, 10 rebounds against Colorado. 7 seconds on the shot clock for the Cougars as play resumes. Bulldogs doing a good job of covering up Sims. So Burns will take it baseline. And turn it over, stepping out of bounds, John Higgins says, and so it'll be Drake basketball. Niko Medved very high in his team. You saw him a moment ago, and he's talking about how when they play the team concept, they are much better, and they certainly did that at the Paradise Jam. Timmern guarded by Burns. Skip pass to Orogundade. Orogundade from the top, and the feed from McMurray, and the rebound is claimed by Harris.
And another three-point miss that time from the Bulldogs, not able to get a hand on the rebound. So Chicago State doing a great job keeping the ball outside on the perimeter.
Chicago State not looking like a team that's playing the 3rd game in 4 days, are they?
No, and keeping the bench rotation pretty short. As another knockdown from Sims. Really, really tough with the step-back jump shot. But if you're playing against a team that's played 3 games in 4 days, you want to run them up and down the floor as much as possible. You don't want to settle. And the Bulldogs right now settling a little bit for those outside jumpers, not putting enough pressure on Chicago State and making the Cougars play defense.
Thomas on the miss, and Kinsling caught for leaning on a Cougar, and so he gets the foul. And Chicago State has it.
Right, there we see Sims over the outstretched hand of Orogundade. He puts that ball up so high. So if you look at Fred Sims, they list him at 6'4". I'm guessing he's a little bit closer to 6'3", 190 pounds, but has that really, really high release point. Gets the ball up there in a hurry. Makes it difficult for the defender to contest the shot.
And it's Sims with the basketball now. Orogundade has really made him work harder than anybody else as far as the Bulldogs are concerned. He's been on him the majority of the afternoon.
And Orogundade has a little bit more length and athleticism to contest those shots. Whoa.
So there's 2 seconds on the shot clock. He's pretty well guarded and bullseye.
And that's what scorers do. You know, when you trust a guy to put up a lot of shots, he has a scorer's mentality like Sims does. Sometimes those just fall. He has endless confidence, and that time knocks it down from distance, even well contested.
Cougars on an 11-2 run. And part of it is the Bulldogs still trying to figure out this zone. Part of it is they're not shooting it well, and Thomas on the miss. So the Cougars tried to add to this 11-2 run. They're up 11. And they continue to get production from Sims. Sims has drained 16.
listen, I'm playing a guy that scored 18 a game last year. Just like if you're Chicago State looking at Reed Timmer, he's going to make some tough shots. We know that. They're going to score their points, but you want to limit the number of easy ones. So if they make the contested ones, throw your hands up and say, okay, live to fight another day, but you can't give up the easy opportunities. You can't let a defensive lapse get a scorer going.
The Bulldogs work it inside to McGlynn, and it's going to be an and one. Drake only 1 of 11 behind the three-point line. Desperately needed something like that.
And really the first time that against this full court pressure that Drake's been able to attack the basket and get something easy. Nice pass that time from C.J. Rivers. A good assist man in the middle of that zone press break.
Spear got the foul for Chicago State. When we talk about the Cougars, and the numbers really are not good for Chicago State, but some lopsided losses, like 111 to 42 at Purdue, like 105 to 66 at Notre Dame, lost at Iowa 92-65, lost by 38 to UNI. So it really changes the numbers. But when they get hot and they play aggressive defense, and they are doing both so far today, they're a tough team. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, part of what you talked about, Larry, all those games are experience and things you can build on. So if you're Coach Dildy, you look at that and you say, all right, let's take small wins from each of them and find ways for your team to continue to get better at what you did well. And then try to eliminate some mistakes, just like he talked about on the defensive end. We're trying to figure out what's our best defense. Right now, this 2-3 zone doing a good job stifling the Bulldogs. McMurray on the penetration, but covered up well by Spears. So Timmer from outside misfires. The Bulldogs 1 of 12 shooting the three. Rebound by Rivers. Bulldogs live to fight another day. Woodward off the baseline, spins out. Tip try is there. Nick McGlynn rises high for the tip, and he's got 11 of the Bulldogs' 22. And again, it's not the outside shooting. It's the attacking the offensive glass that creates that opportunity. Another miss from deep, but C.J. Rivers and Nick McGlynn working hard on the inside. And one of the things Tracy Dildy said that his team had to do today was limit McGlynn's touches. Spear over McGlynn. Rivers rebounds. Bulldogs don't have the numbers. Timmer, a little bit of contact with Harris, but no foul. Lob for McGlynn. It's working inside for the Bulldogs. And especially without having Simmons in the game, Nick McGlynn doing a great job. McGlynn, 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 13 minutes. This is a guy whose 16 points is his career high. So off to a great start early on, Nick McGlynn. And has hit 5 of his 6 shots, 4 of those 6 rebounds, offensive rebounds. Bulldogs put on a relaxed three-quarter court pressure. Great back-to-back baskets for McGlynn after Chicago State had opened a 12-point lead. The shot won't go, and the rebound is taken by McMurray. Drake on a 6-0 run, actually. McGlynn calls for it again. He's got the hot hand, but this time he walks with it. Moved his pivot foot, and the turnover gives the ball back to the Cougars. Yeah, good call. I didn't think the officials would catch that one initially, but Higgins on the baseline does a good job seeing that Nick McGlynn changed his pivot foot. We see some more token pressure here from Drake, just trying to control tempo. You didn't think, and Nick hoped. Yeah. Burns directs the offense. And again, this Chicago State team not in a hurry to put it up. No. They'll often go under 10 seconds on the shot clock. Well, and when you got guys that can create off the bounce like Sims, it allows you to be able to run the shot clock down and still get good looks. Rivers comes out with a rebound on the Sims miss, and then Woodward loses the handle of it, but it glances off a Cougar. Glenn Burns said, which Cougar did it go off of? And the officials say, they don't tell him which one, but they say it was out of bounds off somebody wearing green. Inside 2 minutes in the first half. The Bulldogs have been behind twice at the half so far this year and are 1-1 when they're behind at the half. McGlynn inside to score again. And I believe he's got the last 8 Bulldog points. Just great job working inside, creating position and sealing for Nick McGlynn. Nice pass in there for Reed Timmer as well. He has single-handedly brought the Bulldogs from a 14-point deficit to within 6. And that's something you see with good teams when you start to figure out how to win, as we see the nice take inside and the strength for Burns going up, finishing that one through 3 guys off the glass.
as teams start to mature and develop that winning mentality, it's not always the guy you would expect. It's not your best player that's going to step up and make plays. It's the second or third or fourth level guys that make big plays to keep your team in game.
Timmer fouled in the act of shooting a three. He makes it to go to the line for an and one and a chance at a 4-point play.
As we're going to take a look at the replay here. Nice pass. And, yep, kind of got him on the arm a little bit. Looks like Burns with the slap as he went by. And that's always a tough call as you're trying to contest those shots. But good try for Burns. Just unfortunately a little bit too much contact as Timmer finished his follow-through.
Reed Timmer with 9 points in the game comes into the game today with 1,434 points. 8th all-time, 38 behind number 7, Wayne Kreklow, who played for the Bulldogs in the late 70s. And a chance to become the all-time leading scorer. He just maintains his current scoring pace, or not even his current scoring pace, which is over 20. Ahead, Timmer runs it down, puts it up and in. Nice athletic move by Reed Timmer.
Good job by C.J. Rivers keeping his head up. And now the Drake faithful getting behind the Bulldogs a little bit. A couple of stops create opportunities on offense.
And the Bulldogs on a big run now. A 14-2 run over the Cougars. Sims from beyond the three-point line. McGlynn with the rebound. If the Bulldogs knock down the three, they will have their first lead in the game. Nico Medved telling the Bulldogs what to run in this final play of the first half. McMurray looks for the lead and gets it for the Bulldogs. Drake's first lead of the ballgame comes at the first half buzzer. And Drake will take a 35-34 run to the locker room. From surgery earlier this month, and we know that Ron would love to be here. He's a super Bulldog booster, and we know he's recovering well, and we look forward to seeing him at the Knapp Center very soon. So Ron, from Adam and I and our entire MC22 crew, and I know everybody in the Drake Athletic Department, get well quickly. McMurray, Aragondade, Timmer, McGlynn, and Rivers, the group that started the lineup with the game for the Bulldogs, start the second half, and it's a quick basket for McMurray, who hits the last basket of the first half and the first basket of the second half.
And nice play drawn up by Coach Nico Medved, coming out to try to build some momentum for his team. We still see Chicago State, the Cougars, in that same 2-3 zone that they played the entire first half.
Cougars have their starters in as well to begin the second half. There is Sims. Pitching it off to Bird, who had to sit out a while when he got 2 early fouls, and the rebound taken by Drake. Bulldogs quick transition. McMurray works his way open with a nice ball fake to score again.
Now how about McMurray being a little bit more aggressive? 2 15-foot jump shots to start this second half.
McMurray coming off a 23-point effort against Drexel, a season high. He hit the winning basket and then came up with a crucial steal late in that double overtime Bulldog victory that enabled them to finish third in the Paradise Jam. McMurray over the zone in the outstretched arm of Bird, and the ball out of bounds. And it was last touched by the Cougars.
C.J. Rivers, good job hustling on the offensive end just to try to put a little bit of pressure on the Cougars as they go for that rebound. You'll see nice patience that time from the senior D.T. McMurray as he gets into the paint, knocks down the jump shot calmly.
Rivers in deep, banks it home, and C.J.'s got his first 2 points of the game. So it's a quick start for the Bulldogs to begin the second half. So quick a start that Tracy opened a 41-34 lead. Here's one of the all-time great Bulldogs, Dolph Pulliam, in the house this afternoon. And a little bit of history. When Drake beat Wake Forest last week, it was the first time that they defeated an ACC team since Dolph's last game, which was the NCAA consolation game in the Final Four.
And Dolph, a walking history book over here on the Drake sideline, sitting in press row. Guy that's been affiliated with this program for a really, really long time and actually lives right outside the Chicago area.
Nico Medved had him address the team on an earlier visit this fall to campus, and Dolph is one of the more inspirational speakers you will ever hear.
Yeah, he's got quite a story, and you know, he obviously all the Drake faithful lucky to have Dolph a part of their program. But I think if you ask Dolph, he would say the exact same thing. Drake has been one of the biggest parts of his life, and has had some great experiences here.
Great man, deep love for the university, as you say. Arigondade looks for it. Schlatter comes in at the timeout, tries to score in deep and can't. And Deontay Sims comes up with a rebound. He was a big factor in the first half, and then got his second foul, and Tracy Dildy put him on the bench for the remainder of the half. And if he can stay active in the game, he becomes a presence for Chicago State.
Well, especially as Nick McGlynn got going in that first half. Not having Simmons in there really hurt. He did a good job neutralizing McGlynn in the middle of that zone.
7 seconds on the shot clock, and there's a traveling violation called against Simmons. So the Bulldogs tried to extend their 6-0 run in this half, and again, it's 23-2 going back to 4:38 in the first half when Nick McGlynn was the trigger.
And if you're Chicago State and Coach Dildy, you're looking for a guy like Sims to try to get you going. See if he can knock down a couple of shots, give your team some confidence.
Bounce off the sneaker of Sims, but right to Reed Timmer. Contact on the baseline, and foul going to be called against Anthony Harris.
Better ball movement that time from the Bulldogs, moving it side to side, trying to make this Cougar defense swing a little bit and move around.
Timmer for three. Struggling a bit with the shot this afternoon. Chicago State still looking for their first points of the second half, which is now 3 minutes old. Sims with a miss, Simmons with the follow.
And the two guys from the first half. Sims missed that one. Pretty nice move, knifing in there and missing the jump shot, but Simmons goes up strong with that rebound. His hustle and his ability to create space, really difficult for Drake to deal with.
Bulldogs still look at the zone inside Timmer with the kick for McMurray. Shot clock at 8. Arigondade travels. Couldn't decide which way to get it around Glenn Burns. He got caught in the middle walking.
And we're going to see as Sims goes up strong, misses it from 15 feet, but Simmons right there and goes up through the contact to finish at the rim.
Simmons 6'8", 230 pounds. You mentioned very active, very strong. Burns runs the offense for the Cougars. He threads the Bulldog defense to score, just weaves and bobs his way into scoring. He's in double figures with 11.
And if you're Coach Dildy, that's what you wanted to see. Your guys attacking the rim and getting easy baskets.
So this Cougar team playing their third game in 4 days, and they have been able to withstand the Bulldog run and fight their way back in it.
A really smart move that time for Reed Timmer, taking the ball to the rim, drawing contact on Simmons. That's going to be hit there. Yeah, you look at the games even they played this year, Larry. So you talked about the travel, playing the big boys, playing at Iowa, day off, play at Purdue, day off, play another game at home against a team from Wisconsin, day off, come back, play at Notre Dame. So just a murderer's row of opponents early on. Really test the fortitude of your team.
Tracy Dildy in his 8th year at Chicago State, but he believes in his school. He grew up 2 miles from campus, a Chicago guy all of his life, played at University of Illinois, Chicago, and he thinks he can get this program turned around. And another point about the Chicago States of the world, this is the time where they make money for the budget and they try to get better. It's all about the conference season for them.
Yeah, it really is, because they're trying to get that automatic bid, get to the NCAA tournament. You start to get maybe on a national publication or two. You get to play a game or two on TV. A recruit sees you. You get the right guy to sign. That's kind of how these things snowball. And if you're Coach Dildy, what you're really building towards.
Timmer with the penetration, too hard off the glass. Schlatter takes a slap at it, doesn't get it. Down the court comes Anthony Harris. Trying to get in the way is Noah Thomas. Thomas gets the foul. So Chicago State, again, you consider them road weary, having flown in from Baltimore yesterday after playing 2 games there back-to-back. they're not, and they're fighting hard, and they saw the Bulldogs jump to an early 5-point lead in the half. They clawed their way back into this one, down by 3.
And we mentioned their non-conference schedule and all the travel and the difficult games, but also once they get into the conference in the WAC, they're traveling all over the place, spending a lot of time out west, going to Washington, going to Oregon, going to Arizona, traveling to Texas, so New Mexico. They're going all over. A lot of travel makes it really, really difficult, but that means as these kids get older and more mature, they're used to it. They're just ready to go out there and play basketball.
Yeah, they are the easternmost team in the Western Athletic Conference. It's a little strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Harris gets the foul. It'll be his second. Now, that is a far-flung league. UMKC and Chicago State are the easternmost, and as you said, goes all the way to the West Coast, up to Seattle, down to Arizona. It's a lot of travel. That was Tracy Dildy's thought about this game. He said, you know what? We have to do this in the conference anyway. This is good for us. Gibbs on the drive, leaves it a little bit flat. McGinn tries to tip and can't, and Bird has the position for the rebound. Chicago State could tie it with the 2, take the lead with the 3. Sims got the basketball, and the Bulldogs have been able to contain him to start the second half. Spinning to the lane, Harris leaves it short, but the ball kicked right back to Simmons. He can't finish. And Noah Thomas comes out with it, and he gets hooked by Fred Sims Jr.
And boy, Noah Thomas quick with the basketball coming out of there. And again, Simmons on the offensive glass, he's just so active. Unfortunate not to finish that one, but a really nice play in there, creating space, getting another opportunity.
That's the second foul for Fred Sims Jr. Drake tries to expand on a 2-point lead. Bulldogs are going to be road warriors themselves coming up as 6 of their next 7 games are away from the Knapp Center, and they won't be back here until the 9th of December against Omaha. Down the lane, Timmer to score.
Tough. He's so tough going to that left hand. You know, it's funny. Even when you get to this level, being left-handed is an advantage. Most players have to go up and use that right hand, even if they're comfortable with both in traffic. But Reed Timmer so strong with that left.
Nice feed to Deontay Sims, and he slams it home for his 6th point.
Boy, and Simmons just so tough down there. Nice little pick and roll and aggressive going to the basket. Finishes strong, almost bringing down the rim.
Noah Thomas, jump shot from the free throw line. The rebound cleared by Montana Bird. Bird, the 6'2", 225-pounder from Chicago, went to Mount Carmel High School there. He's got the ball. He'll take a 3 ball and knock it down. And Bird, who had only had 10 threes coming in 37 tries, which is at 27, which is good percentage anyway, has hit 2 3 balls.
Yeah, can really heat up, though, from distance against UMBC. 5 of 9 from 3. Bird's really their knockdown shooter.
Bulldogs play from behind for the first time in the half until Gibbs on a nice pass from McGlynn scores.
How about that ball movement from Drake? Moving it one side to side, get an inside touch, a backdoor cut. That's the best offensive possession we've seen from a ball movement standpoint.
Good pass from the freshman Jalen Gibbs from Maryland. Down the lane comes Sims to score.
And we haven't seen him attack the rim a lot, but that time Gibbs Sims showing off the athleticism, getting to the rim.
First points of the second half for Fred Sims Jr. Timmer for 3. Reed Timmer really heating it up now as he has 7 second-half points.
Puts into the gym and this new practice facility, taking advantage of everything it has to offer.
Made the all-tournament team at the Paradise Jam at 29 points against Wake Forest, 28 against Colorado.
See a little full-court man-to-man type of pressure here from Drake, just trying to control tempo, get Chicago State in their offense a little later in the shot clock.
And Woodward, one of the Bulldogs' better defensive perimeters, or defenders on the perimeter, has come in. Missed by Sims, rebound by Jelani Pruitt, who just checked in. He hurt his elbow there on that exchange. From behind, McGlynn with the block. Woodward leads the bust out for the Bulldogs. Oregondave, short. And ball out of bounds to Chicago State. And that brings us to a timeout with 11:59 left to go in the first half, rather in the second half.
Lull you to sleep a little bit. Keep you on the perimeter with your hands out looking for the ball. Jalen Gibbs does a really good job knifing in through the middle of the defense, catching that one and finishing.
Gibbs, a 28-point-a-game score at North Point High School in Waldorf, Maryland last season. Had 40 in one game, also averaged 10 rebounds, 3.5 assists. The first recruit of Nico Medved. Burns weaves his way to the basket, draws a foul on the way in, and Burns will go to the line.
And Burns taking it so hard with his right hand. Watch him draw the contact, and you see the little shove, the chicken wing there from Nick McGlynn. And good job by Burns creating the contact, using that to create space and separation and going up. Unable to finish, but draws the foul.
Second foul on McGlynn. Burns, a 77% free throw shooter. Scored 13 points, his season high 15 against UMBC. That was on Thanksgiving Day. Played just 12 games last year for Chicago State. Did not play second semester due to some academic issues. But they are glad to have him back and would love to keep him for a full season. He's got 5.5, 14 in the game, and the Bulldogs with a 1-point lead face full court pressure.
And here a little bit more aggressive pressure. It's a full court man-to-man, but denying the inbounds pass. We haven't seen the Cougars do that quite yet. Coach Dildy finally living up to his promise, mixing up his defenses, at least in the full court.
The Bulldogs really benefiting by getting to a play zone for the first time this season. That won't be the last time. Woodward tries to penetrate. Nice job by Chicago State to take it away, and Bird comes up with a loose basketball. And the Cougars try to take the lead. Burns has been a chore when he's tried to drive. Watch him get to the basket. Well, he's not going to do it this time, but he has been able to get to the basket on numerous occasions. Good defense by McGlynn. Sims with the miss. McMurray brings it quickly the other way.
That time McMurray taking one too many steps in. Burns doing a good job drawing the contact, staying outside of that restricted area, taking it right into his chest as the pace picks up, kind of going back and forth. Here we see McMurray go, now a jump stop. I'd love to see him jump stop right there. You saw Nick McGlynn trailing. You might have had an opportunity for your big fella to go up for a dunk, but that time one too many dribbles and one too many steps for DT McMurray.
And the second foul called against McMurray. The Bulldogs now have 3.5. Chicago State with 4. Sims open from the corner. When you say Sims open from the corner, you may as well say made it.
Yeah, and that's just not really good defense that time. Drake looked like they were going zone, either that or they were just confused. Didn't communicate. Left Sims, the leading scorer in this game, wide open from 3.
Woodward off the screen of Rivers. Timmer for 3. Reed Timmer with 10 second-half points. The Bulldogs back into the lead with 53-52.
And talk about another guy you don't want to leave open. Reed Timmer wide open that time with another knockdown.
Slow start for Timmer, but he is really hot now. But at the other end, the ball put down by Montana Bird. And Bird with his third three-pointer.
How about the scoring picking up? Both teams bombing away from distance.
Both coaches wishing their teams were playing a little bit better defense right now. McMurray for 3. McGlynn tries to tap and keep it alive, but it's retrieved by Simmons.
And boy, Simmons just so tough in there, grabbing a lot of rebounds, using those long arms. Really like what he's been able to do.
Again, the Cougars will be patient as they try to pad a 2-point lead. They run the shot clock inside 10. Screen set by Simmons. 6 on the shot clock. Burns with a ball fake. Got Woodward into the air.
A nice play, nice patience that time for Burns. We've seen him going hard, often to his right, going to the rim. That time takes the crossover, pulls up, and the nice little pump fake. Get the defense off balance, see if you can draw a foul. Veteran play, really nice job by Burns.
His first foul, Woodward's first foul. Burns to the line, looking for his 15th point. Started his career at Danville, Illinois Community College. We mentioned played half a year for Chicago State last year. So Glenn Burns, who's from West Memphis, Arkansas, on his senior year at Chicago State. And he gives his team a 3-point lead and equals a season and career best. against pressure. Foul called. Pruitt called for the foul.
And still keeping up the full court pressure here, denying the inbounds pass, Pruitt trying to make sure D.T. McMurray doesn't get it, got his arms locked up.
Woodward into the front court to McMurray. 9:20 left in regulation. McMurray has the ball slapped away. Woodward picks it up, puts it up. The rebound comes to Fred Sims Jr. Lead feed for Pruitt. He spins, and there is Reed Timmer to deny him.
Yeah, good hustle that time, getting back by Reed Timmer, and a nice lead-ahead pass from Sims. Pruitt just unable to finish. And we're going to take a look at it here and watch the ball just going right ahead. Would have been, probably didn't need the extra spin move. Made him a little bit slower as Pruitt was going up.
Chicago State tries to up their three-point lead. They led in the first half by 14. From the corner, it's Bird. A rare three-point miss for him. The rebound put back by Sims. Again, a spin move, and the strong guy does it again.
How about Simmons showing off the left hand as well off the spin, going careening off Nick McGlynn's body and going up and finishing with the left.
Open is Timmer. He's been red hot. He still is.
Boy, you can't leave him open. I mean, there's no excuses for that. Coach Stilby puts his hand on the head, going to the bench and saying, guys, what are we doing? We can't leave that guy open on the perimeter. You have to identify shooters.
24 for Reed Timmer. What a start he is off to. So it's his third game of 24 or better in the Bulldogs' first four. And there's a blocking foul called on the Bulldogs.
And the Bulldog faithful don't like it. I think it was the right call on the baseline that time for Higgins. Graham Woodward tried to rotate over and get in position, but he got to that spot after Burns already made his move. Watch this. So he's trying to slide over. Burns is already moving forward as Woodward comes in to take that space. So a close call, but I believe the correct one for the official.
I agree. I thought a good call as well. McGlynn out, Slaughter in. Travel by Simmons, and Drake gets the basketball back.
Yeah, that time good help from Graham Woodward, rotating over after the screen and whirl, getting into the paint and making sure when Simmons caught it, there was a defender facing him. So Graham Woodward at 5'10", 5'11", quite a bit smaller, but still his presence forced that travel by Simmons.
Animated Tracy Dildy didn't see the call that way. Not a surprise there. Chicago State stays in that 2-3 zone. Woodward over the zone. Bullseye.
And that's what he does so well. He's only 5'10", 5'11". He's not your lead guard, but he's a great scoring guard. He's going to have the hard-nosed defense playing on the basketball on one end and can really fill it up in a hurry on the offensive side.
Those his first points in this one, but he's been averaging 15. Slaughter got a hand on it. Run down by Pruitt. He travels, and the ball goes back to the Bulldogs, who are up by one. For Chicago State is their MC22. Becca Hidner, Becca Jonas, and the crew there.
That should be a fun one, shouldn't it, Larry? Good competition, both these teams, high expectations coming into the year.
It always is a lot of fun, those interstate games, and this one will be no exception. 7 o'clock on Thursday, right here in MC22. Bulldogs up by 1 point after the timeout. McMurray tries to penetrate. They collapse on him. Puts the shot up. No. Rivers with the tip. No. On the rebound taken by Simmons. 9 lead changes in the game. Drake's biggest lead 6. That to open the second half. First half, the Cougars led by 14. Woodward now with the defensive chore on Fred Sims Jr. He'll put it up over Woodward from long range.
That was a heck of a take that time from Sims. If that one would have went down, goodness gracious.
Bulldogs doing a good job for the most part finding Timmer. He was open that time. They didn't find him. But at the other side, Woodward is there. 2 in a row for Graham Woodward.
And that big shot that time for Woodward, heating up at the right time, trying to create a little bit of separation here as this second half dwindles down.
Chicago State looking for just their 3rd win. Their victories this year have been against Division III teams, East West and Silver Lake. So this would be a big feather in their cap if they could pull it off. And Simmons will get to the free throw line.
Boy, he just keeps working in there, doesn't he? That guy is tireless. Tireless, and he's so strong. Even when he catches the basketball, does a great job knifing through defenders trying to get to the rim. Hasn't done a great job finishing so far, but his ability to get there and wreak havoc has really made it difficult on the Drake defense.
Not a good free throw shooter on the season, just 56%. Schlotter got the foul, his third. And Simmons not a great free throw shooter on the season, 3 for 3 this afternoon.
Yeah, well, you look at it, and it looks pretty good. He's got a good release. One of the things you're trying to look for to see if a guy can shoot is watch his hand as he finishes. So he has a little bit of a funky delivery, but he's got the nice rotation on the basketball. That gives him a better chance to put it in than if he had no spin or side spin.
Woodward directs the offense. The senior from Medina, Minnesota. Not easy for a senior to not start, but Woodward's done a great job accepting that role off the bench.
And now we're seeing Chicago State playing a little bit of man-to-man defense, really the first time we've seen it. So it's the first time we got to look at Coach Nico Medved's primary offense against a man-to-man defense.
Anthony Harris gets his third foul. The 17th foul called against Drake.
Yeah, it looks like they got C.J. Rivers that time, kind of going over the back as the ball caromed off the rim. Chance for a 1-on-1 at the line.
Anthony Harris, 68% on the season, 4 points this afternoon, 2 of 3 from the line.
And a guy whose name we haven't called very often, but he's been fighting and working, getting deflections on the defensive end. Harris has a couple assists so far in this one. Only that was his 4th point.
And he knocks down both free throws, and once again, it's a 1-point game at 62-61 with 5.5 to go. Full court Cougar pressure.
And again, they just kind of token. They want to see if they can deny the inbounds pass, and then they just retreat. Now going back, Coach Gildy going to his own.
So what, with one possession of man, right?
Yep.
And again, the Bulldogs facing a zone for the first time, and you can prepare for it all you want, but facing it is, you mentioned it earlier, you brought up a great point. As over the zone, Reed Timmer knocks it down. So if they're going to hit threes like that, I guess it doesn't much matter. But your point about your defense in practice can't simulate a team that plays zone all the time.
Right, and what, you know what helps? So we look at Reed Timmer specifically. He started this basketball game 1 of 5 from three-point land. With that one now, he's 5 for his last 6. That makes a heck of a difference in terms of how that zone plays against you.
Timmer 138 threes now, 10th on the all-time Drake list.
A nice pass that time, a touch pass from C.J. Rivers, and C.J. Rivers quietly racking up his 7th assist of the basketball game, kicking it out to Reed Timmer, who's been continually knocking him down, especially in this second half. And one thing we didn't mention, Larry, that happened as we were talking, a really nice take defensively for Graham Woodward on the defensive end, drawing a charge off Burns.
You know, Timmer 138 threes, as we mentioned, 10th all time. He passes Ryan Weedle, a friend of yours.
Yes.
Ryan Weedle, who played here from 2009 to 2011. And so Reed needed 6 coming in to surpass him, and he has done that. 27 points, his career high 30 at the Paul last year.
Always a bad thing if Ryan Weedle's in the top 10 of anything at your school. So good for Reed Timmer to bump him off the list.
Indeed, Simmons spins in and out, and the rebound comes to Rivers. You know, Rivers is a guy who doesn't have to score to do big things, and today's a great example of that. As Orlandadane buries well.
And that play for C.J. Rivers, the rebound on one end, leading the transition break from his 4 spot, and then the look-away pass to Orlandadane, really freeing him up in the corner. That's an unsung hero type of play from C.J. Rivers.
So Rivers could have a double-double and not get into double-figure points because he's got 8 rebounds and 8 assists. Great numbers for C.J.
And boy, Reed Timmer, reckless abandon going into the basket that time. Gets fouled as he goes out in transition. One of the best three-point shooting teams in the country, getting out in transition, knocking down the open opportunities after struggling, going 1 for 12 in the first half.
And you just learned something from John Higgins, the lead official.
Yeah, sounds like they're calling it a flagrant 1 on that last play because the Chicago State defender did not go for the ball. They didn't make a play on the ball. That's an automatic flagrant 1 as Reed Timmer was going through that transition break.
So that gives Timmer 28 points. His career high is 30. His free throw gives the Bulldogs their biggest lead of the day. Right now in an 8-0 run.
We'll take a look at it here, and it's probably from behind with Burns grabbing that arm, not making a play on the ball as Reed Timmer goes down hard. Glad to see he's okay.
29 now for Timmer. Woodward in deep. Scores it.
Tough shot, tough finish through the bigger, stronger Burns. Another possession of man-to-man that time from the Cougars, and Graham Woodward takes advantage. Really looking to score in this second half.
And the Bulldogs have opened an 11-point lead. It was a 1-point game, and now Drake is on a long run of 10-0.
Boy, it just happens that quick, too, especially knocking things down from outside. Really see the lead balloon.
Simmons travels as he tries to get the ball out of difficulty. And the Bulldogs get the ball back up by 11, just over 3 to play.
Chicago State now the Cougars going into a little bit of a diamond press as we see Woodward going up through the contact. Nice job, even though not the biggest guy, doesn't really have those long arms, but he's pretty explosive off the floor and strong in that upper body, strong enough to go through Burns' contact there.
Encouraging for the Bulldogs this afternoon. When the outside shots weren't falling, they found a way to get it to the baseline to McGlynn. Now the threes are falling again. Timmer with the penetration. Origandade, a shot at a 3. Instead steps in, takes a 2. The rebound is taken down by Simmons.
And that time would like to see Origandade move that basketball a little bit more. They've been getting good shot opportunities. No need to force.
Sims with a miss. Sims really curtailed in the second half. 16 in the first half, just 5 in the second half. Woodward red hot. All 10 points, second half for Graham Woodward.
Boy, and Larry, I'm not sure how that ball went in. When he shot it off his hand, looks like it was going to hit the side or the bottom of the rim potentially, but just somehow had the right amount of spin on it, snuck it through.
McGlynn commits the foul, which will send Simmons to the line. McGlynn with his third, and it's the one thing that the Bulldogs, well, everybody's obviously working on everything, but one of the things they're really working on with McGlynn, avoiding those fouls, because his presence on the floor is very important for the Bulldogs.
It is, especially when they're a little bit short-staffed on the front line. And, you know, this guy, I tell you what, Deontay Simmons has been such a tough task. It was really fortunate for Drake that he went to the bench with 2 fouls in the first half. He's worked really, really hard in there. He's been drawing contact. He's been drawing fouls. He's been finishing at the rim. He's really made it difficult on the offensive end, getting offensive rebounds as well. Deontay Simmons has had quite a game.
Chicago State without a field goal for the last 6:43. The Bulldogs have tightened up at the defensive end. Woodward, is he still red hot? He finally misses. He's on quite a streak. Chicago State trying to work their way back into this one, but time running out. Penetration by Sims. He twists, he fires, he scores.
Tough shot.
Big time move. And a timeout taken with 1:21 to play by Chicago State. So Drake trying to protect a 9-point lead, 1:21 to go. 1 timeout left for Chicago State, 2 for Drake. And the Cougars have the possession arrow.
And a little full court pressure, trying to be more aggressive. Smart play that time for C.J. Rivers. If you don't have anything easy in that transition opportunity, back it out, run some clock, make the other team play defense.
I can't help but feel this has been a great experience for Drake from a teaching standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things you want as a coach is you want to see how your team does when they face adversity. And Chicago State has certainly shown plenty of resistance at the lead in the first half and has really battled not only that, but you also have to adjust defensively. Fred Sims had some great opportunities in the first half, Deontay Simmons as well, and now Drake gets a chance to try to close out the game and have that experience of what are the plays we need to make down the stretch.
Miss on the free throw, but a lane violation, says John Higgins. By the way, McGlynn just needs a rebound to have his 3rd consecutive double-double. 17 points, 9 rebounds for McGlynn, 29 for Reed Timmer. 8 assists, 9 rebounds for C.J. Rivers. Okay, when you can get a double-double and points out one of them, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, C.J. Rivers, one of the guys on this team that doesn't need to score to have a big impact, and he's shown today that's the way he needs to play every time, especially being undersized at the 4 position. That's what this team needs from him to be able to differentiate themselves and have a chance to win basketball games.
So the Bulldogs are going to equal their best start in 4 seasons. They will go to 4-1 with this victory over Chicago State this afternoon. Timmer with a career high right there. Reed Timmer with 32, a new career best for the senior from Wisconsin. At the other end, Sims scores one more time, and we are down to the last 6 seconds in this one, and the Bulldogs will walk away with a 79-67 victory over Chicago State.
And how about the finish, though, from the Bulldogs in the second half? Not only to close the first half, but closing